Breaking news, Tulsi Gabbard announces that she will be running for president in 2020. She apparently did this during an interview with CNN's Van Jones that is going to air tomorrow on the Van Jones show. And to Van Jones, she said, "I've decided to run and will be making a formal announcement within the next week." They apparently talked about some of the issues that were driving her to want to pursue the presidency. And she said, "There are a lot of reasons for me to make this decision. There are a lot of challenges that are facing the American people that I'm concerned about and that I want to help solve." She then listed healthcare access, criminal justice reform, and climate change as key platform issues. And she also said, "There's one main issue that is central to the rest, and that is the issue of war and peace. I look forward to being able to get into this and to talk about it in depth when we make our announcement."
So I know what a lot of people will think. They'll think, why are so many progressives running? They're gonna split the vote. And my answer to that usually is, we should be so lucky. And what I mean by that is, about 30 people are gonna run. If it turns out there's 4 progressives and 26 establishment candidates, trust me, they're gonna split the vote more. And what I mean by we should be so lucky is, somehow, miraculously, all of them have been defeated, and Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Tulsi Gabbard remain. We should be so lucky, right? And then, hey, you like Tulsi a little bit better, you like Bernie better, you like Warren better, great. Now, if it turns out that 3 of them are in and 6, I mean, we want to get into those calculations a year from now as we're heading into Iowa, New Hampshire, have at it, Hoss. For now, what you have is more strong progressive voices that are in the mix and that are gonna make the progressive case instead of the establishment case. I think that's wonderful for the country.
Yeah, and I think, there could be cases eventually once it gets weeded down where there's a lot of splitting. But I think initially, we're gonna have, we're already in the primary. We're gonna have month after month after month of talking and polls and news coverage and debates before there's even one vote. Let's have as many strong progressives of different shades out there driving the conversation, because while they might agree largely on policy, they don't necessarily agree on priorities. And so some of them will talk more about one issue, some more about another. So maybe Tulsi Gabbard is talking constantly about American foreign interventions or something like that. And Elizabeth Warren is talking about reforming Wall Street, and Bernie Sanders is talking about prescription drug prices or whatever. Let's have all of them out there doing that. We can eventually figure it out once the voting starts, who supports who, and it would be great. I've never really been involved in an election where I was really hard pressed to figure out who I wanted to vote for.
I know, wouldn't that be
I want
great?
that struggle.
Yeah, we have multiple progressives from which to choose from, said for the first time ever in American politics, at least in my lifetime that I've been trying it. And I know people have different definitions of progressive, but my definition. So I have 3 people that fit the bill. I totally agree with John that they have different strengths, and then those will be different voices and different issues that'll be highlighted because of their presence. And look, we are principled. We believe in primaries, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. We believe in it as a form of democracy. So let them battle through ideas, and not necessarily even battle, just make their case. And then we'll find out who has the most compelling narrative.
Yeah.
Bobby Kennedy and Gene McCarthy could be argued.
No, that's definitely true, but I wasn't around.
I know you weren't around. And there have been, well, we won't get into that. Listen, there are often people of the same ilk that are running all the time. Why not progressives who are also running, a number of them running? I think because the progressive movement typically puts all their eggs in the Bernie basket, as they've done it in the past 2 years, and that's going to take some getting used to. And people who liked other people for liking Bernie are going to have to figure out whether that's enough and look at their records.
Well, actually,
that's important. Then also, the first thing I think of is, now will Mufi Hanneman finally win the 2nd district seat in Hawaii? Will she run for Congress?
I was wondering about that as well.
Former mayor of Honolulu.
So we transition to that topic now. No, I'm kidding. So one thing I am worried about is, because in your lifetime, in my lifetime too, we haven't really had this sort of thing going. It is gonna be interesting to see, once we really get into it, how things play out, because we've been through a few elections, at least online and in the news and all that. You set people on fire. That's what you do. If you disagree with people, you want to destroy them. And we get so passionate that we see anyone who differs from us as the devil. So when you have 4 people who largely might vote the same way you would, were you in office, So let's say you really love Bernie Sanders, or you really love Elizabeth Warren, or you really love Tulsi Gabbard, or Ojeda, or whoever. It's going to be interesting to see how those people speak about other progressives in the race.
And also having to
Genuine progressives I'm
differentiate
talking
themselves from each other and not just from the others, because that happens by default, and it's going to be much more of a challenge for Elizabeth Warren to now differentiate herself from Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders. It'll be easy enough for her to do against Cory Booker and Amy Klobuchar should she do that, and should they run. But so it'll set up an interesting debate dynamic.
And look,
which I want to see.
Lastly on this, and I'm curious about it too. I actually think progressives are really smart. And that the reason why they vociferously lash out sometimes at the establishment is because of great frustration, because they have not had a lot of choices, and most of the Democratic figures do not actively fight for the bigger progressive priorities, Medicare for all. I mean, God, we had to fight so hard for most of people to accept $15 minimum wage, which is a really low bar, and it took us year after year after year, and we're still not there, right? So I think that there's a real reason why people are against establishment candidates, and sometimes passionately so. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we'll find out people go into camps for Gabbard and Sanders and Warren and rip each other to shreds based on nothing or based on small differences. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm hopeful that that is not the case.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I think that you look on candidates and circling them. For example, I guess let me put it this way. For me, I don't care about the candidate. I care about the ideas, okay, and the policies. So I want to win on policies. And so if they got great policies, hear them out. And by the way, hear out everyone. And so at the same time, look at their track record. So I want to hear out Cory Booker, but I'm also cognizant of his track record. So you can do both things at the same time. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.